Welcome to Basketball U. If you're new to Basketball U, make sure you slam dunk that subscribe button. And just to make sure you don't miss a thing, make sure you tap that notification bell right after you hit that subscribe button. Basketball U. Today's episode is about ooh-wee. There are some high flyers in today's game. I'm surprised nobody has jumped over the backboard yet. Believe it or not, there was a time where the game didn't allow one of the most popular skills in basketball. Before we tell you about what happened, leave a comment about your favorite dunker or all-time favorite dunk. Hit that subscribe button and we will do the rest. So what is a dunk? Score by shooting the ball down through the basket with the hands above the rim. Simple enough, right? Doesn't seem like much of a problem at all. Well, it became a little bigger problem than expected. It all started, believe it or not, with the first dunk in organized sport happening in 1936. Joe Fortenberry, a 6'8" Texan, introduced the dunk during the Berlin Olympics. Fortenberry captained the American squad on his way to winning the gold medal in the first Olympics to include basketball. Early on, basketball purists despised the dunk. Kansas basketball coach Phog Allen said as much when describing the dunk in his 1937 book. Dunking does not display basketball skill, only height advantage. Less than a decade later, the first college dunk happened in 1944 by accident. Oklahoma A&M's Bob Curlin, one of the college game's first 7-foot centers, unexpectedly dunked in a game against Temple. The ball happened to be under the basket. I got it up and stuffed it in. That started it, I guess. The late Curlin said when asked about the dunk. It was an unintentional accident. It wasn't planned, just a spontaneous play in Philadelphia. Despite negative backlash about the dunk extending into the 1950s and 60s, some players continued to incorporate it into their offensive games. Many defenders, however, took offense to the play, viewing it as an insult that broke one of the game's unwritten rules. In some instances, players showed their distaste for the act by deliberately taking out the legs of a dunker. The NCAA banned the slam before the 1967-68 college season for a couple of reasons. In the organization's words, the dunk was not a skillful shot, and the rules committee said the ban was also a result of injury concerns. The report cited 1,500 events where a player was hurt around the backboard during the previous year. While the NCAA never admitted it explicitly, many speculated the NCAA enacted the ban because of UCLA's Lou Alcindor. He would later change his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Alcindor regularly dunked over his opponents in his first year in college. The media nicknamed it the Lou Alcindor rule, which prohibited players from making shots above and directly over the cylinder. The NCAA's ban on dunks lasted for 10 seasons until 1976-77. During that time, players with above the rim skills had to drop in the ball delicately. Players like University of Massachusetts star Julius Erving and North Carolina State's David Thompson, a great dunker in his day, played their entire college careers with the ban in place. It was tough not to be able to dunk the ball when you are way over the rim. It would have been way easier to catch it and dunk it in one motion, Thompson once said in an interview. Thompson, who led the Wolfpack to his first NCAA title in 1974, didn't dunk his entire college career with one exception. During the final home game of his senior year, he found himself all alone on the breakaway. There was no other option. Thompson, who went on to play 7 years in the NBA, jammed the ball through with authority. "I got a technical foul and a standing ovation at the same time," Thompson said. North Carolina State head coach Norm Sloan immediately subbed out the senior to thunderous applause. The NCAA rescinded the rule the following season. Now let the fun begin. Inside the art of the dunk. What's that dunk that makes you close your eyes, look down, and shake your head in disbelief? Is it Shaq crippling an entire backboard? Vince Carter being half man, half amazing? Or is it Derrick Jones Jr. almost jumping over the rim? Maybe you can't get a dunk contest moment out of your head, like Aaron Gordon taking the ball out of a spinning mascot's hand and completing a dunk with a crazy amount of difficulty, or Jason Richardson's seemingly impossible 360 windmill. Perhaps it's Brittany Griner thundering to the rim, Or maybe you remember Candace Parker being future NBA dunk champion in a dunk contest. The thing that makes the dunk such a spectacle is the anticipation of what's coming, and the result being what was expected and sometimes the unexpected. A dunk can stretch the imagination with a mix of athleticism, artistry, and authority. It can test the limits of humanity, gravity, and swagger all at once, just like that. Let's take you through the different types of dunkers. Let's start with the small guys who have amazing athletic ability and just have power, and those would be the likes of Spud Webb, Kevin Johnson, Allen Iverson, Nate Robinson, Isaiah Thomas. Dunking is always thought of by taller players, making it exciting. In all reality, the world loves to see the little guy or the underdog get up and fly through the air for a nasty throwdown. But first, another quick question. Why does a great dunk matter anyway? It's more than just 2 points. It can get the crowd into the game, says Richardson, the 2-time slam dunk contest champion. It can motivate your team, get your team excited, and get yourself going when you have one of those big dunks, especially if you're dunking on somebody. There are game changers, momentum changers. You see that at every level, no matter if it's high school, college, or professional. That brings us to the in-game high flyers. Just enjoy these clips and enjoy some snacks while they put on a show. So many talented and athletic dunkers over time. That is excitement that's built up over so many wonderful years of hoops. Some dunkers we want to highlight are Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Shawn Kemp, Shaquille O'Neal, Vince Carter. Can't forget about LeBron James, Zach LaVine. Derrick Jones Jr. is something else, as he literally has his chest over the rim. We showed you Vince Carter, and there are 2 very legendary dunks that stick out in our mind. One is the dunk on Alonzo Mourning, and then the ultimate dunk of all time where he jumped over someone in a game. Mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing. When it happened, I didn't actually know it happened. When I found out, it was literally after the game. I knew it was talked about. My friends, obviously, when they saw it, or people in general, when they actually saw it the next day, because we were so far ahead in Sydney, it was just talked about. So I knew it was going to be a thing. It was pretty cool. But we're talking about it 16 years later. In the Olympics, they're still talking about the dunk. Now, power dunkers who just rip the rim down, just sit back and feel the force of these dunks. Woo! Harold Miner, Shaquille O'Neal, Stromile Swift, Josh Smith, Kenyon Martin, Dwight Howard, Blake Griffin. Now, I remember growing up, someone said that the women's game will never have dunking in it unless they lowered the rim. Well, let's just say they were a tad bit wrong about that. Let's look at some high school, college, and pro dunking women, like Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, and Brittany Griner. Lisa Leslie comes into the women's game, leaving her legendary mark all over it, and brought it to another stage when throwing down a dunk in game for the world to see. Candace Parker kind of became the face of the new generation, going up against what was going to be an NBA dunk champion, Josh Smith, at the time. She put in an incredible performance with different styles and characteristic animations after each dunk, which made her a household name, winning the dunk championship on national TV. Having a successful college career and dunking in games made the excitement build as she was on the path to being a star in the NBA. Brittany Griner took all these inspirations and put it all together as she throws down every single type of dunk you could think of. She was the first women ball player to make you say, maybe a girl could play in the NBA, because she is tall enough and has a pretty good athleticism to match her build. Dunking may be worth 2 points, but the excitement and moments that have happened in the existence of the NBA are unforgettable in the minds of many generations. Whether it was in 1980s or in 2020s, the feeling you get when someone defies gravity, it will always remain the same. As we put a focus on this, we wanted to pay homage to the greats who brought us so many memories in the men's and women's game. We will leave you with our top 5 dunks, including reactions, which makes them that much more special in our eyes. Number 5, DeMar DeRozan dunks on Rudy Gobert.
DeRozan throws down a vicious, nasty slam.
Number 4, Derrick Rose dunks on Goran Dragic.
Stop it!
Number 3, Tracy McGrady dunks on Sean Bradley.
And that says a lot. Here comes McCready. Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building. What a play by T-Man.
Number 2, LeBron James dunks on Jason Terry.
Takes it away. Chalmers. Oh, James.
And number 1, DeAndre Jordan dunks on Brandon Knight.
A jam! Oh, what a monster jam by DeAndre Jordan!
Regardless of size, no matter big or small, dunking is still a phenomenal thing to see in the game of basketball. Plus, this year's All-Star Slam Dunk Contest is packed with fresh faces. Obi Toppin, Cassius Stanley, and Anthony Simons. Who knows what the future of dunking may bring? This has been The Art of Dunking. This is Basketball U. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, follow all of our social medias right there in the description to keep yourself up to date, as this channel will have a lot of basketball, a lot of players, and a lot of training and more information on how to play the game of basketball. Remember, someone's always working. Are you?